Hi friends, today we are going to evaluate the previous year questions based on marketing management unit, and we have seen the fundamentals of marketing and very basic concepts of marketing. Based on these fundamental concepts, we are going to previous year questions. There were a lot of questions regarding the fundamentals of marketing, core marketing concept based questions were asked. So, these things we are going to evaluate. So, we are going to the first question. The question was asked on June 2019, paper 2. The question is as follows. Peter F. Drucker noted the relationship between selling and marketing in which of the following terms? So, the question is, Peter Drucker, who is a management thinker, he has given certain statement regarding what is marketing is all about. So, based on his quote, we have to understand what is the difference between marketing and selling. First of all, we know that selling is just a part of marketing. Anyway, looks the options. The first option is A, marketing is subsidiary component of selling. So, that is wrong. Why? Selling is a subsidiary component of marketing, not vice versa. Then look upon option B. The aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. So, let us look upon that part. We are going to the option C. The aim of selling is to make marketing superfluous. Somewhat B and C are opposite opinion. Anyway, let us B and C stay there. We are moving to the fourth option. Selling and marketing are essentially the same thing. That is wrong concept. Actually, marketing is a broader concept. Selling is just a simple component of marketing. So, let us look upon option B and C. Option B says that aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. The meaning is that actually the B and C both are opposite meaning coming options. So, in order to crack these two options, you want to understand a simple term, superfluous. Superfluous means that more than required. So, now let us read the option. The aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. The meaning is that the main aim of marketing or the simple aim of marketing is to make selling unnecessary or excessive. So, this is somewhat a good concept which is theoretically okay. Let us look upon option C. The aim of selling is to make marketing superfluous, means that the aim of selling itself is make marketing unnecessary. That is wrong. Actually, marketing is the paramount importance. Actually, if you are doing the marketing activities very well, selling is just a natural activity. So, the answer is option B. The aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. So, even though you do not know the Peter Drucker's quote, if you know marketing is a broader concept, easily you can answer this. Only one thing, a problem I identified is that the meaning of superfluous. Sometimes you may confuse. Anyway, the answer is option B. Aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. So, the next question was also asked in June 2019, paper 2. The question as follows. Which of the following reflects the sum of perceived tangible and intangible benefits and cost a customer? So, this is pretty straightforward question. If you understand the statement very well, you can easily answer. The option is given: customer satisfaction, customer delight, customer value, customer expectation. So, let us read the question once again. Which of the following reflect the sum of, so the statement is the sum of perceived tangible and intangible benefits and cost a customer. Simply, it means the total benefits and total cost which is incurred by a customer, or the cost actually incurred and the perceived benefits received by the customer. So, we know that value is a marketing concept, customer perceived value or value is a marketing concept which states that customer value is something which is we get when we deduct the customer cost from the total benefit perceived by the customer. So, the answer is pretty straightforward, that is customer perceived value. So, let us look upon the option. Option A, customer satisfaction, no. Customer delight, no. Option C, customer value. So, that is answer. Option C is the answer. D, customer expectation. So, these are not the right options. So, anyway, what is customer satisfaction? Customer satisfaction is nothing but what is the actual output and what was the customer expectation. So, if the expectation of the customer is exactly met by the actual performance of the product, then we can say the customer is satisfied. Then when we say customer is delighted, that is customer, option B, customer delight. If the actual performance of the product is greater than what we expected, then we can say the customer is delighted. So, that is customer delight. Then last option, customer expectation, that is what customer expects from the product. That is just a component of customer satisfaction. So, once again, just to provide an information, we know that customer satisfaction is evaluated based on two components. One is our expectation, the other one is the actual output or the actual performance of the product. So, if the performance of the product is greater than what we expected, then the customer is delighted, and the marketer is always keen upon customer delightment. Anyway, the answer is option C, customer value. Now, we are going to another question which was asked on December 2012 in paper 3. The question, who do buy more, complain less, spread positive word of mouth, ensure a large customer base and repeated business. So, the statement gives some indication about something. There are certain people who will buy more, complain less, they give word of mouth, that means spread the good information regarding the product, or bad, anyway it may be, ensure large customer base, repeated business. So, it is almost related to the customer, a loyal customer. Anyway, let us look upon the options. Option A, satisfied customer, okay, that is somewhat okay. B, delighted customers, okay, it is much more suited because delighted customer always spread a good news regarding the product because he is delighted. C, industrial customers, that is somewhat different thing regarding the question. D, none of the above. Anyway, the answer is pretty straightforward, delighted customer. Satisfied customer is person who gets the output or who get the benefit exactly what was his expectation. He may not go for repeated purchases, or sometimes he may go for repeated purchase, but a word of mouth or sharing the information regarding the product may not be done by a satisfied customer. Then who will give the word of mouth and complain less? That is the delighted customer, because he get a benefit or the actual or the perceived performance of the product is more than his expectation. So, a delighted customer will complain less, spread good word of mouth. So, the answer is option B, delighted customers. Now, we are moving to another interesting question, very straightforward question. It was asked on December 2018 paper 2. The question, which among the following not included in 7 P's of marketing mix given by Booms and Bittner? Question is very simple. We know the 7 P's of marketing mix provided by Booms and Bittner. So, we know there are 4 P's and additional 3 P's, and these 3 P's represent the service part. Anyway, let's look upon the options. So, the question is, which is not included in 7 P's of marketing mix? Option A, politics. No, politics is not included in 3 P's. B, people. Yes, it is included in the marketing mix, the 7 P's of Booms and Bittner. C, physical evidence. It is also right. D, process. So, let us look upon the 7 P's of marketing. In 7 P's of marketing, we know there are 4 P's, the traditional P's, that is product, price, place, promotion, and additional 3 P's which gives the properties of services. That is physical evidence. That means while giving a service, there is physical evidence. For example, you are going to a bank institution, and its ambience is its physical evidence, and process means the process behind what the services provided. And the third P is people, means the service providers. So, the answer is very clear. Option A, politics. All the rest are included in the 7 P's. Now, another important question asked also in December 2018. Which one of the following demand states consumer are adequately buying all products put into the marketplace? Very simple question. If you know the types of demands, you can easily answer. The statement is like this: in which one of the following demand states that consumer are adequately buying all the products put into the marketplace? That means whatever the marketer produce, the customer, there is enough demand in the market. That means whatever the market produce, the customer will always buy such product. For example, the marketer produces 10,000 units and the actual demand for in the market is 10,000 unit, then we can say it is a full market or full demand condition. So, the answer is pretty straightforward, full demand. So, option 1 is the answer, full demand. Let us look upon the other options. Option 2 is overfull demand. Overfull demand is yet another type of demand. In this demand, there is more demand for a product, but the market or the industry is not able to provide or satisfy this demand. For example, cement industry. In cement industry, we know there is actually in certain seasons there is a very big need for cement in the market, but the industry is not able to satisfy this need because of its low supply. Then third one is irregular demand or seasonal demand, means demand based on seasons. Then fourth one is latent demand. Latent demand means that there is a demand for a product, strong demand for a product, but it is not satisfied by the existing products or the industrial conditions. For example, in smartphone industry, there are many smartphone needs, like they need a very speed operative phones which is beyond the market or industrial condition, which cannot be satisfied by the market or the industry. In such a situation, that is latent demand, because such a demand is not satisfied by the market conditions. So, anyway, the answer is full demand. Now, we are moving to the statement type of question, which was asked on July 2018 paper 2 question. The question as follows. Statement 1 is, the mindset which is commonly associated with a long ago era when the demand for goods generally exceeded the supply and the primary focus in business was to effectively produce medium quantities of product, finding the customers was viewed as relatively major functions. So, let us evaluate the first statement. Statement 1 state that long time era, that means very long time ago, the mindset of marketer is to identify the customers. There is actually exceeded supply and not that much demand. These all are wrong, because long time ago actually the finding the customers is not a big task, because there will be regional sellers which is aware about his buyers, because he is only operating in a small area. In such a situation, finding the customers is not necessary. Then there was no machinery and all, sophisticated machinery and all, so oversupply also was not there. So statement 1 is prima facie wrong. Then statement 2, the firms with product orientation typically focus on quality of the offerings, while assuming the customers will seek out and buy reasonably priced, well made products. So this statement says that in product concept or product orientation, we know the evolution of the marketing. In that, product concept says that the marketing activity should be focused on products. That means how they are produced, their quality. So this is somewhat correct, because the statement says that under product orientation, the quality, the quantity, all are related to the product, are in focus. So what was the options? Let's look upon. Options were both statement 1 and 2 are not correct. That is wrong, because statement 2 is correct. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct. No. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is not correct. That is yet again wrong, because statement 2 is correct. Last option is the true answer, that is statement 1 is not correct, but statement 2 is correct. So the answer is option D. So in order to answer this question, you have to understand the evolution of marketing. We know there was product concept, production concept, selling concept, up to the holistic market concept. Anyway, now we look upon another interesting question which was asked on November 2017 paper 2. When Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom lets customer visit a fair kingdom, a pirate ship or a haunted house, then what is marketed in this example? So here the statement is given regarding what is Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom giving. That means Walt Disney is a amusement park, something like. So they are providing the experience like visiting a fair kingdom, a pirate ship, a haunted house. These are like some experiences. So the question is, what is marketed here? So we know that in marketing, the product or the thing which is marketed is included of goods like biscuits, soaps, etc., services, events, experience, people, information, ideas, etc. So anyway, what is marketed here in this statement? So question is whether it is service A, option B whether it is event, no, option C experience, it is right, option D ideas. So here in this statement it is logically correct, experience is marketed here. So option C experience is the answer. Now another match the following type question which was asked in January 2017 paper 3, list 1 and 2 is given. So this question is regarding the types of needs and its description in list 2. List 1 consists of types of needs and list 2 consists of its description. So you want to match it correctly. Anyway, option A real needs and its correct description is expecting good service from a car dealer. So it is not description, it is examples given here. So real needs expecting good service from a car dealer. So let's look upon other options also by keeping real needs. Option 2, customer expect to be seen by his customer as a value oriented savvy consumer. This is somewhat related to secret needs because it is not stated, because customer want himself as a customer savvy, he know all about the product, which is somewhat secret needs. Then customer wants car at low operational cost and no initial cost. This is somewhat related to real need, because we know there is a stated need, that is what is the expressed need. We are expressing such a need because we have certain real need. So these are what somewhat related to real need. Then anyway, option 4, customer receives free insurance on purchase of car. So customer receives free insurance on purchase of car. This is actually a real need, because not real need, delayed need, because this is somewhat more than expected. This is actually unexpected need. Means originally insurance is not provided freely. So a freebie is given. In such a case, customer is delighted because his delayed need is satisfied. So anyway, the real need is matched correctly to option 3. Then option B, unstated need, that means the implied needs. There is no statement of such a need, but it is implied. So the answer is expecting a good service from a car dealer. This is somewhat unstated need, but it is implied. Why? Expecting a good service from a car dealer is somewhat implied. It is actually expecting. So that is our expected need or unstated need. So option B correctly matches to option 1. Then delayed need we already identified, option 4, that is customer receives a free insurance. Then secret need also we identified, option 2, that is customer expect to see himself as a customer savvy or product savvy consumer. So the correct answer is answer A, that is real need correctly matches to option 3, unstated need, that is B matches to 1, C matches to 4, likewise. So in order to answer this question, you have to understand the types of needs. Now we are going to a simple question which was asked on June 2019, paper 2. The question is as follows: doctrine of caveat emptor means. So in order to answer this thing, you have to understand the two terms, caveat emptor. Let's look upon the option, what mean by caveat and emptor. So this is popularly used in marketing. Caveat means beware, vendor means seller, emptor means buyer. So you want to understand these three terms: vendor, seller. Caveat means beware, emptor means buyer. So by combining caveat emptor, we can read it as follows: let the buyer beware. So the answer is let the buyer beware. So you want to select a option corresponding to that statement. Option A, buyer should make a payment well in time. No, that is not something related to the statement. Buyer should be aware of all aspects of buying. This is somewhat correct, because what caveat emptor means, let buyer beware, means buyer should be aware about something. That means buyer should be aware about all the marketing activities. Means marketing activity means the purchasing of the product. All the activities relating to the purchasing of the product should be aware by the buyer. This is somewhat a traditional concept. Now the concept is let the vendor beware. That means caveat vendor. Anyway, option C, buyer will be responsible for the whole payment. That is also correct. Then option D, buyer will not be responsible at any cost. No, in caveat emptor, buyer should be responsible for his activities in purchasing of a good. So the option is buyer should be aware all aspects of buying. While buying a product, buyer should be aware all the aspects. Seller is just a party who sells the product, that's all. This is just a traditional concept. Now the customer is the king or the buyer is the king. Anyway, now this is a question asked on June 2019 paper 2. Question as follows: building long term mutually satisfying relation with key customers, suppliers, distributors in order to retain their long term preference and business is known as. Simply this statement is regarding to relationship marketing. Why? We know that relationship marketing is part of holistic marketing, which states that the marketing activity should be done by considering the key constituents like customers, the government, the financial community, etc. So, a long term relationship with these key constituents is the crux of relationship marketing. So, anyway, the answer is relationship marketing. Option A itself is answer because A is relationship marketing. Option B, social marketing. This is somewhat different concept. Social or societal marketing means it's a marketing concept regarding the welfare of the society or the public in which the marketer operates. Then C, niche marketing. This is somewhat related to segmentation or target marketing, in which a particular niche or particular area is targeted or concentrated and segmented accordingly. Then D, service marketing. Service marketing is yet another big concept we have to understand, which will be coming on other videos. So, in holistic marketing, relationship marketing is a part. Relationship marketing states that build mutually satisfying long term relationship with key constituents in order to earn and retain their business. So, the key constituents like customers, employees, marketing partners like retailers and wholesalers, members of financial community like shareholders, investors, etc. So, the answer is option A, relationship marketing. This is pretty straightforward question. Now, another question asked on June 2019 itself. Which of the following characteristics are related to relationship marketing? So, in order to answer this question, this is bit tricky. In order to answer this question, you have to understand exactly what is relationship marketing. So, here the options are product feature orientation. In relationship marketing, product feature is not a big characteristic of relationship marketing, because here in relationship marketing all things are done in order to maintain long term relationship with customers and other key constituents. Then second one, product benefit orientation. Product benefit in a prima facie is not part of relationship marketing, but you have to understand relationship marketing is not a separate discipline, but it is a part of marketing concept, but it is a upgraded version of marketing which states with withholding the 4 P's of marketing, that is the traditional marketing mix, they have to consider other things, that is building relationship with key constituents. So, product benefit orientation we can help anyway, we can look up on the options anyway. Option the third option is frequent consumer contact. Yes, in relationship marketing, in order to build relationship, a frequent contact with the customer is essential. Then 4, high concern for quality. In order to satisfy the customer, high concern for quality is somewhat required. So, the options are A option says that statement 2, 3 and 4. Statement 2, 3 and 4. So, avoiding the product feature orientation, all are inclusive. This is somewhat okay. Then 1, 2, 3. One is not part because product feature orientation is not part of relationship marketing. Why? Because product feature is somewhat related to the product concept, which is entirely focused on product, not customer needs and wants. In relationship marketing, customer needs and wants plus long-term relationship with the key constituents. So, all other options is inclusive of option item 1. So, the answer is pretty straightforward, option A, that is 2, 3 and 4. If there was an option like 3 and 4, then you can go for 3 and 4. But here it is inclusive of 2, 3 and 4, 3 statements are given. So, that we are going to that option, that is option A, that is product benefit orientation, frequent consumer contact, high concern for quality. So, the answer is option A. So, what I said was based on this statement. That means while reading this statement you can easily understand what I have said right now. Relationship marketing is not an independent philosophy, but draws on conventional marketing principles. That means withholding the conventional marketing concept, that is customer needs and wants. That is why we included product benefit. Withholding that concept, relationship marketing is evolved. So, the answer is option A, that is statement 2, 3 and 4 are correct or related to the characteristics of relationship marketing. Now, we are going to a passage type of question which was asked on December 2019 paper 2. So, here there is a passage, a lengthy passage. So, in order to crack such type of question, you have to practice reading comprehension practices. So, reading comprehension, a quicker reading comprehension make to answer this question easily, because this is somewhat straightforward. Anyway, I am giving the crux of this question. In this passage, there were statements which were given by Peter Drucker and other authors. So, the main thing included in this passage was the purpose of business is create customer. This is a quote given by Peter Drucker. This concept was given in the passage. Also, the aim of marketing is to understand the customer needs and wants. This concept was also stated in the passage in a part. So, in order to answer the question based on this passage, only one quote was enough, and I am going to show that quote. This quote was given by Theodore Levitt, the profounder of marketing myopia concept. Anyway, his quote was, marketing definition of a business are superior to product definition. If you are well aware about this concept or quote, then reading the passage also not required, because you know what is this quote, then you can easily answer the question, because the question was like. Anyway, in real practice it is not possible, because we want to read the passage, because some tricky part may come. Anyway, it was a helpful quote in order to answer this question. So, here states that market definition is a broader concept compared to product definition. So, market definition is nothing but it is a definition based on customer needs and wants, and product definition is somewhat related to product concept. That means just focusing on product or what is product is all about. So, market definition and product definition, you want to understand both this, which is the bigger thing. Market definition is the bigger thing. So, anyway, 5 questions were asked based on this passage. We are quickly overviewing these questions. The question 1 was, which of the following is correct market definition of the BPCL? There was a statement regarding market definition and product definition in the passage. Anyway, so the question is, what is the correct market definition of BPCL? So, let us have a look upon the different options. We distribute oil products. So, this is somewhat product related or what is their business all about. Second option is we are the largest oil supply company. This is somewhat in India. This is somewhat a fact, not a market definition. Third one is we supply energy. This is exactly market definition. Why? Because in this statement they are saying what their market is or their market definition. Because they are, what is the benefit deriving by selling oil related products? They are selling the benefit called the energy to the customer. So, the customer needs and wants is just stated in this simple statement, that is we supply energy. Anyway, look upon the fourth statement, Bharat's own oil distribution company. This is also just a fact. So, the answer is option 3, we supply energy. This is somewhat easy type. Now, we are moving to another question which was also based on the passage. Pepsi could define its target market as. So, the question is what is Pepsi's target market? So, in segmentation part of marketing, we are going to learn about this, what is target market in detail. Anyway, target market is the market. Also, we know in types of market we have seen that target market is nothing but the market which is actually targeted by the marketer. That means the seller is able to serve this market. So, according to Pepsi, who is its target market? Anyway, from the options we can say. First option is everyone who drinks carbonated soft drinks and are competitors. This is somewhat okay. That means it says those who drinks the carbonated drinks, because Pepsi is producing carbonated drinks. So that is it is actually its target market, somewhat correct. Then option 2, anyone who drinks liquid, that is not a target market. This is just a market situation. Anyway, it is not part of Pepsi's market. Then third one, everyone who drinks non-milk drinks. There are many varieties of drinks, milks, non-milks. Non-milks can be any types, carbonated or juices, etc. So, that option is also not correct. Then option 4, anyone who drinks competitors drink. No, for a Pepsi, the target market means inclusive of competitors market and also those who drink the carbonated drink. So, the answer is option 1, everyone who drinks carbonated soft drink and are competitors. So, the option A or 1 is the correct right answer. Now, another question based on this passage. Let us look upon the question. Which of the following is the correct combination of product definition and market definition of Xerox company? So, let us look upon the options one by one. So, the question is identify correct combination of market definition and product definition. So, here first option is product definition says that we sell photocopies. No, this is wrong definition, because Xerox is a big company, they are selling photocopying machines. Anyway, that is a wrong answer. Then market definition, actually we do not want to check, anyway we are reading it. We help improve office efficiency. This is somewhat market definition, because it is the customer need. In order to improve office efficiency, they are providing a product, that is their photocopying machines. Anyway, product definition is wrong, so we cancel the option 1. Then second option, product definition says that we make photo machines. That is wrong. They are not making photo machine, they are making photocopying machines. So, the product definition is wrong. Market definition is we improve copy speeds. This is just a feature of a product. So, that is also wrong. So, option 2 is also eliminated. Then product definition, option 3, we sell copying equipment. We sell copying equipment. So, somewhat the product definition is right, but there is a problem. The phrase we sell is not a correct product definition, because in product concept or product definition, the product is orientation, not the selling concept. So, if the statement was we make copying equipment, then it was right. Anyway, that statement is also wrong. Market definition, we make office more efficient. That is right, because that is the customer need. So, anyway, due to this phrase, we are eliminating this option also. Anyway, so the last option is anyway going to be right. What was that? Product definition, we make copying equipment. That is correct, because they are making copying equipment, that is their product concept. Then market definition, we help improve office productivity. In order to improve office productivity, they are making such equipments. So, their market definition and product definition are correct. Why? Because their product definition exactly say what their product is, and market definition says what the customer requirement is. So, the answer is option 4. Product definition, we make copying equipment, and market definition, we help to improve office productivity. So, that is a discussion about the previous year questions related to fundamentals of marketing. So, students, please understand the core marketing concept, especially the concept like value, are important to evaluate, because based on that part questions are asked in previous years, especially after the coming of NTA. So, stay tuned to our videos. Let's crack NTA net. Thank you.